It's kind of wild when you think about it. Every single message you send, whether it's a quick text or some huge announcement, goes on this incredible and honestly pretty dangerous journey. It's a 9-step obstacle course, and today we're going to draw the map.
Oof. These 4 little words. I mean, is there any other phrase in the English language that can make your stomach just completely drop like that? We've all been there, right? On one side of this sentence or the other, and it's the perfect way to see how much is really going on underneath the surface of our words.
So what's the deal? Why does this happen? Well, the answer is hidden inside a 9-step process that every single message has to survive to be understood correctly. Most of the time, we don't even notice it's happening, but when it breaks down, that's where all the confusion and conflict begins. So let's pull back the curtain on this journey.
Okay, so this journey doesn't actually start when you open your mouth or start typing. Nope, it starts way, way earlier, deep inside the mind of the sender, the person with something to say. Think of this as mission control for communication.
Think of these first 4 steps as the pre-launch sequence. First up, you have an idea. Then you, the sender, decide to actually share it. You shape that idea into a message. But this next step, step 4, is where things get really interesting and where they can go wrong. It's called encoding.
So, what the heck is encoding? Well, it's basically translation. It's that critical moment where you take a fuzzy thought from your brain and wrap it in something tangible. Words, a certain tone of voice, a facial expression. And get this is the very first danger zone. It's the first place your message can get totally twisted.
And this is the perfect example of that. We all know this one. The sender thinks they're encoding the message, everything is okay, but their flat tone, their slumped shoulders, they're actually broadcasting a totally different message. Something like, I am absolutely not fine and you better figure out why. That, my friends, is a classic encoding failure.
So, the message is encoded and it's been launched, but now it has to travel. It's officially left the sender's control and it's flying through what we can call the great in-between, on its way to the receiver. This path is called the medium, or the channel. It could be a face-to-face conversation, a phone call, an email, a text message, you name it. But here's the crucial thing to remember. The medium you choose is part of the message itself. I mean, getting serious news over a text just hits different than hearing it from someone in person, right? And I think we can all agree this is a perfect, if slightly horrifying, example. The channel you pick has its own meaning, and choosing the wrong one can be a complete disaster before the message is even opened. So, okay, let's say the message survives the channel. What happens then? And touchdown! The message has arrived. The recipient has heard it, read it, or seen it. But wait, the journey is not over, not by a long shot. In fact, this is a super critical moment because for the very first time, control has completely shifted from the sender over to the receiver.
So, if the sender's job is encoding, then the receiver's job is decoding. They take the words and the tone and everything they received, and they translate it back into an idea. But here's the absolute key. They decode it using their own experiences, their own biases, their own mood, not the sender's. And that gap right there, between the sender's world and the receiver's world, that's where almost all misunderstandings are born.
We're not done yet. The message was sent, traveled, it got decoded. But did it land correctly? Was the idea that arrived the same as the idea that was sent out? We need some kind of proof. We need a receipt. That proof is called feedback. And feedback is literally the heartbeat of communication. It can be something as small as a nod or a quick, I get it, or a really detailed question. It's the signal that the receiver sends back to say, yep, message received, we're on the same page. And that really is the bottom line. Without any feedback, you're not actually having a conversation. You're just making noise. You have no idea if your message landed, if it got twisted, or if it was just flat out ignored. Feedback is what turns a one-way broadcast into a real two-way street.
So, we've got our sender, our message, our receiver, all connected by feedback. Seems like we're all set, right? Well, there's one final element we have to talk about, the villain of our story, a monster that can attack our message at any one of these 9 steps. And that villain's name is noise. Now, in communication, noise isn't just about sound. It's anything that gets in the way of a clear message. It can be something external in the environment or something happening inside your own head. It is the #1 reason good messages go bad.
There are 4 main types you gotta watch out for. First, physical noise. That's the obvious stuff, like trying to talk in a loud cafe. Then there's psychological noise, all the chatter in your own brain, like stress or your own assumptions that stop you from really listening. Third is emotional noise, when feelings like anger or anxiety just color every single word you hear. And finally, the modern enemy, technical noise. You know, a bad internet connection.
So there you have it, the whole shebang. From the initial idea to the sender, the message, the encoding, the medium, the receiver, the decoding, and the feedback, all while battling noise. 9 steps. Not just in some big, important announcement, but in every single conversation you have, every day.
And you know, what's so powerful about understanding this whole process is that it's not just theory. It's a diagnostic tool. The next time a conversation goes off the rails, you can trace its journey back and ask yourself, okay, was it poorly encoded? Did I pick the wrong medium? Was there just too much psychological noise going on? When you master the journey, you really start to master the message.
And that brings us to a final thought to take with you. As you go about your day, just think about your own communication style. Which of these 9 steps is your weakest link? Is it the encoding? You struggle to find just the right words? Or maybe it's feedback. You forget to check if the other person actually understood you. Pinpointing that weak spot, well, that's the first step to becoming a truly incredible communicator.